Chicago Theater, CIBC Theater, James Nettle Chicago Theater, CIBC Theater, James Nederlander Theater, and many others. By the way, this Biograph Theater on Lincoln Avenue, which was once a movie theater, was the location where notorious bank robber John Dillinger was shot down by FBI agents after he watched a gangster movie there in 1934. On a warm, sunny day, you can visit Navy Pier, which was opened to the public in 1916.
We are at the Navy Pier. Let's go have some fun. There's the Ferris wheel. There's the carousel.
It extends 3,300 feet into the water and offers over 50 acres of parks, shops, restaurants, and a 150-foot Ferris wheel. From here, you can also catch a boat tour or just enjoy some tasty food and the views of downtown. Now let's take a look at North Chicago. The northern neighborhoods are desirable for their waterfront location and nightlife, like Lincoln Park, one of the most affluent neighborhoods in Chicago. Just 2 miles from downtown, the community is named for the 1,200-acre park, which includes beaches, gardens, a zoo, a museum, and more. This is one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city. My friend Chris lives here, so let's talk to him.
People, they move here when they're just out of college, right? They get a good job in the city that pays decently well. They want to live in this neighborhood because there's a lot to do here. Then they get married. Then they have their first kid. Then when they have their first kid, they buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo. And you can get those for about $500,000 to $600,000. From once they have their second kid, though, is when they leave the neighborhood. 3-bedroom places are typically where things start getting north of $1 million. And it gets really hard to juggle having a family and making enough money to support that kind of lifestyle. Yeah, I would say that the people that you see living in this neighborhood are young professionals, and they're living in multi-unit built, high-rises like me. 1-bedroom apartment, $1,700, $1,800, $1,900 a month. Studio is going to be in a range of $1,100 to $1,300 a month. 2-bedroom is going to be about $2,000 to $2,500 a month.
Next to it is one of the oldest zoos in the U.S., Lincoln Park Zoo, and it's one of the last remaining free zoos in the country.
And I have to come all the way from Russia to see a polar bear. But he doesn't want to see me because I can't find it.
35 acres of animal fun. Another nice neighborhood in the north is Lakeview, a popular neighborhood for young professionals, and it has access to 3 train lines. This is the home of Wrigley Field Stadium, established in 1914. This area swells with activity during Chicago Cubs home games. It's densely packed with lively sports bars and cool pubs. If you drive even further up north, you're going to end up on Northwestern University campus. This university is known as the Ivy of the Midwest.
You're walking on the campus of Northwestern University. Nice and peaceful. I'm not a student, but we're certainly enjoying it. Well, what I've heard, this university is really famous for its journalism department.
Its campus is sitting on a really nice beachfront area along the shores of Lake Michigan.
So do you swim in the Michigan Lake?
Not anymore. It's a very cold lake. And I used to when I was young. We used to dive off of rocks like these into Lake Michigan, but I think these days I wouldn't get into Lake Michigan anymore. It's too cold for me.
The west side of Chicago is famous for cool arts neighborhoods like Wicker Park and Bucktown. There's always something interesting going on. These areas draw shoppers hunting for unique finds, foodies looking for the trendiest eats, and bar hoppers searching for late-night buzz. Westtown is another neighborhood on Chicago's west side, and it's home to large Polish and Ukrainian communities, like the Ukrainian Village. I've always wanted to visit it, and luckily I found some guys to talk to.
So, are you Ukrainian? I'm Ukrainian. I was born and raised in Ukraine until I was 15, and then my whole family moved here. My sister's getting married in 2 weeks, and this was like a wedding shower, so me and my brother, we dressed, in Ukrainian clothing.
As far as Ukrainian diaspora, I would say the biggest one is here, then Sacramento, Philadelphia, California.
Yeah. It's a comfortable place to live, right?
Yeah.
This area, it's a nice area, and plus, losing your national identity.
If I'm not mistaken, in some journal or some magazine, Ukrainian Village was voted #1, either safest or one of those shiki-piki stuff.
Yeah, right. Most comfortable to live.
Yeah. Which restaurant would you recommend?
Trezub.
Trezub restaurant.
Try that.
If you guys want to try Ukrainian cuisine, go to Trezub restaurant.
You guys have Instagram?
Yeah, I do. It's called Keep It Russian.
Keep It Russian?
Keep It Russian.
Now the south side of Chicago. It's got some nice neighborhoods like Hyde Park and Kenwood, the home of former U.S. President Barack Obama. Do you want to see the actual home Mr. Obama used to live in?
We are in Barack Obama's neighborhood, and this is the house he lived in when he became senator of the state of Illinois.
He also lived here when he was president, and every once in a while he would come into town. And at this time in my life, I was working in the John Hancock building, and my office was looking out towards Lake Michigan, and every once in a while I would see these crazy things kind of happen out the window, like a Chinook helicopter flying across the water, or I think one time too I even saw Marine Force One, which is the, Air Force One is the president's airplane, Marine Force One is the president's helicopter, and so you would know he was coming to town when you started seeing kind of, abnormal aircraft flying along Lake Michigan.
And now somebody bought his house.
I believe so. I don't think they've turned it into a museum yet. As you can see on the sign, it says this area is protected by the United States Secret Service. When Barack Obama was president, you couldn't even walk up or down these streets. There were police on both sides of the street in addition to all these barricades.
I guess. Do you live here now?
No.
The University of Chicago, ranked one of the world's top 10 universities, is also located in Hyde Park neighborhood. Barack Obama was teaching constitutional law at the University of Chicago Law School from 1992 to 2004. Its campus is nice and one of a kind. It has its own university police and emergency buttons throughout the campus.
Did you know there is a simple power trick that self-power your home faster than everything else discovered? Simply do this 12 seconds DIY power trick to self-power your own home. This